A verdict could come any time in the rape trial of a prep school graduate. The fate of 19-year-old Owen Labrie is now in the hands of a jury. He's accused of raping a freshman in a case that amounts to a he said, she said, charged with 3 felony sexual assault charges that each carry a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. Joining us now, criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool and former federal prosecutor Fred TC. So there is a tradition at this fancy prep school in which graduating seniors can request a so-called senior salute from a younger student. That is generally understood to be a sexual favor of some sort. In this case, the 15-year-old girl admits agreeing to give 18-year-old Labrie a salute, wrote to him in advance. Sounds perfect. Her best friend even says the girl discussed with her in advance which acts she was prepared to perform. Prosecutors say that's irrelevant. She changed her mind. She said no. Isn't that all that matters? Fred?
Well, you know, unfortunately, Patty Ann, it's not all that matters. What really does matter is that you have someone whose credibility is questionable, hers. The defendant's credibility is questionable. But in our criminal justice system, this is a tough case for the prosecution because the burden's beyond a reasonable doubt. And all ties, even if she's somewhat more credible, if she's not more credible enough to get to beyond a reasonable doubt, this guy walks. And I think you had to prosecute the case because of the school tradition really needs to be kind of called out.
Yeah, Brian, the credibility issue, she admits she helped Labrie remove her shirt in her pants, but she says she held on to her underwear when he tried to remove that. But she also admits she was giggling. Afterwards, she sent him these affectionate emails calling him an angel. Labrie's lawyers say this proves it was consensual. She says she was just frozen in fear. She didn't want to offend him. Might these mixed signals have been confusing to an 18-year-old guy?
No, I don't think so. And I think this case is either going to result in a hung jury or he may be found guilty. And I'll tell you why, Patty Ann. There's 2 key points of evidence in this case that I think go against Labrie. The first is the context in where this happened. This wasn't at a party. This wasn't at somebody's house. This wasn't at a movie theater where they're doing things like this. This was at a school where there was a known tradition, a pattern and practice of slaying these victims. In other words, tallying up sexual conquests and having young girls lose their virginity. And I think that's a really powerful point that might persuade the jury in this he said, she said that it did happen. The second key piece of evidence, Patty Ann, is this message by Labrie after it happened to his buddies. He not only said, I had sex with her, he said, I used every trick in the books to have sex with her. And I think that's a powerful fact to this jury because it suggests that maybe she was not consenting, that he had to use these tricks to get her to have sex.
On the other hand, Fred, the school nurse testified the girl came to her afterwards for a morning after pill. The nurse asked, was it consensual? She said yes.
Right, exactly. You know, here Brian's supposed to be the defense lawyer, right? I'm supposed to be the prosecutor. I think it's a tough case for the prosecution, but you hit the nail on the head, Patty Ann. The nurse testified that this woman had said it was consensual. The guy was boasting. I mean, the guy's kind of a jerk, and a good defense lawyer like Brian is will tell this jury in closing argument that all the stuff about what the school does, you may find it distasteful, you may find it repugnant, you may find it horrible and offensive, but that's not the question before you. The question is whether or not the prosecution has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that this guy raped this young woman. And look, you know, sexual problems with young women on campuses, it's a problem. But it's got to be, you know, I mean, this case isn't one to fix it.
All right. I'm being told I'm going to have to leave it there. Oh, Brian, quick last word? Or okay.
Well, yeah, I just don't. I don't think you can have an epiphany like Labrie had to say, "Oh, whoops, I don't want to do this now." I don't buy that.
All right, Brian Claypool, Fred TC, thank you.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Patty Ann.